So of course the GOP is trying to pack as much, giveaways to their corporate benefactors within and outside of the military industrial complex and in any type of, additional aid or support to the working class in the United States who has absolutely been economically devastated during this time due to the coronavirus pandemic and the complete failings of our capitalist system and those in power to actually look after the well-being of the working people in this country. So I'll link this in the description box down below. Alan McLeod of Mint Press News. A brazen giveaway. GOP Heals Act is $30 billion bonanza for the Pentagon. Again, that would put a lot of food in a lot of people's mouths. That would provide, a lot of benefits to the average working people. But no, the GOP wants to use it for more death and destruction because that's who props them up. In large part, the Democrats support that same philosophy as well. I mean, just look at the 10% vote of defunding the military that got voted down in the House. Democrats control the House, okay? Obviously, the Republicans control the Senate by, several votes or however many seats it is, but Democrats have a majority in the House. They voted it down, so it's a bipartisan issue, unfortunately. On Monday, the GOP Senate released their outline for a new $1 trillion coronavirus stimulus package, a successor to March's CARES Act. The 177-page document in the HEALS Act includes no funding for hazard pay, postal service. Kind of important that we have a functioning post office. It actually, is written into the Constitution, especially during a pandemic when we need to institute mail-in voting nationwide. State and local governments, nutrition assistance, also very important because the amount of people, including children, not having access to food right now has skyrocketed. Hugely, disgusting and problematic, obviously. Or help for uninsured or underinsured Americans. Can't even get Medicare for all during a pandemic, but incorporates a $29.4 billion bonanza for the Pentagon. The package is presented as a necessary measure to help the country fight the COVID-19. Yes, we need more attack helicopters and fighter jets. That's really gonna be what takes care of this coronavirus once and for all, which has so far caused the deaths of nearly 153,000 Americans. But it appears that the GOP has a very different enemy in mind when writing some parts of it: to prevent, prepare for, and respond to coronavirus domestically and internationally. Jesus Christ. The bill, pages 35 to 38, allocates $686 million for the purchase of extra Lockheed Martin F-35 fighter jets, $650 million for A-10 Warthog fighter bombers, $720 million for C-130J transport planes, $283 million for AH-64 Apache attack helicopters, and $1.068 billion for P-8A Poseidon anti-submarine aircraft. Again, the United States already has the largest defense budget in the world. I believe it's bigger than the next 10 countries combined. And you wonder why, we can't get Medicare for all, tuition-free college. Because we live in a police and security state where we have an unlimited amount of war, both domestically with regards to the police forces and the military industrial complex abroad to cause death and destruction and all that goes along with it. Obviously so many lives have been lost as a result of the U.S. empire. We have something like 800 military bases abroad. Close all of those down. Use that for programs of social uplift, both here and abroad. The world and everybody in it would be much better off. It's not just the Air Force that will benefit from the new bill. It also includes $41.4 million for Raytheon. Oh my God. And you know what? The Democrats are probably going to cave. They're going to go along right with it. So $260 million for new Navy fast transport ship, $250 million for amphibious shipbuilding programs, and $375 million for armored combat vehicles. Most of the, and then look at this. Most of these military spending requests are ones that have previously been subject to cuts in February as the Trump administration moved Pentagon money around to fund construction of the border wall. Oh, Jesus. The FBI, or the plan also allocates, on page 11, $1.75 billion to the FBI for the design and construction of a huge new facility in Washington, D.C. I mean, god damn, it's so disgusting. I mean, that literally says it all. Amphibious ships don't feed hungry children. I mean, it's like, what is MLK said that, we're experiencing three problems. The problems of, materialism, capitalism, and militarism. And it's sadly more true than ever in the U.S. I mean, the HEALS Act, which differs both in the scope of its recipient from the $3 trillion Democrats' HEROES Act, which President Trump has promised would be dead on arrival. Democrats have condemned the new plan. The bill contains billions of dollars for programs unrelated to coronavirus pandemic. Vermont Senator Patrick Leahy. Yet, Democrats have supported other sections of the bill, particularly that do with cutting unemployment benefits while providing a second $1,200 check, which, I mean, again, it's just a slap in the face. That doesn't even cover most people's expenses for 1 month, yet alone multiple months. I mean, the economy is in the tank, and it's going to be years before it even recovers slightly, unfortunately. HEALS Act, which also reduces unemployment payments from $600 to $200 per week. You notice how the U.S. people in U.S. Congress make around $175,000 a year. You don't see their benefits or their pay getting cut during this time, but no, these people are receiving this enhanced unemployment benefits to get by, to survive during a pandemic. That's the first thing on the chopping block, of course. Although in the long term, it would move to a system where the government would be paid up to 70%, which is just ridiculous on its face. Most people weren't getting paid a living wage to begin with. Huge chunk of the country before this couldn't afford a $400 expense. I mean, and look, it's not 600 or bust, said House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, claiming that a weekly $600 check serves a disincentive to many to start working. And nobody should be forced to work during the pandemic unless they are an essential worker. Those people obviously should be getting paid more. Everybody should be getting $2K a month as an individual, along with $500,000 a month for each kid in the household. Boom, problem solved. Again, trillions of dollars to bail out the corporations and just add more money to this, huge, massive military-industrial complex. But average working class person, you get jack shit. Lack of popular support. Far from wishing to increase spending, a poll conducted earlier this month showed that the majority of Americans supported Bernie Sanders' proposal to cut the $740 billion Pentagon budget by 10%. Yet Democrats in both the House and Senate joined with the GOP, as I talked about earlier, to vote down the idea. The $74 billion in savings the National Priorities Project calculated would have been enough to end homelessness, pay for 2 billion COVID-19 tests, create 1 million green energy jobs, or hire 900,000 extra school teachers. Again, we got unlimited amounts of money for war, death, and destruction, both here and abroad. No money for homelessness, no increased, funding of nutrition programs, no money for UBI, Medicare for all, etc. Trump's passed his military budget and increased from previous years. The U.S. is a failed state. This is just another example of that. It's disgusting. Peace. Much